Hey everybody, welcome back to Nick's Mini Bikes. Today we got a GX240. Got a buddy at work who has a cement mixer that this goes on, and he picked it up pretty cheap because the motor is bad. So he asked me if I would take a look at it and see what we can figure out. So come along for the ride while we try to figure out what's going on with this Honda GX240. So right out of the gate, this thing is filthy. I'm not gonna worry about doing any cleaning on it. It has this gear reduction on the back side here. Broken filler there. The wires are kind of a mess on that side. Kill switch is broken. Missing a pull starter. It's missing the filter box up top here. So we'll just start digging in. I'm playing with it before the video here. I noticed that this doesn't spin all the way around. Gets to that point there and stops. We're stopped there. This little notch is facing that way. We get about half a rotation. Stops there. Probably get 2/3 a rotation out of it. The gas tank. The gas tank has a little bit of surface rust in it. I'm not worried about that at all. It's just surface rust. So let's tear into this and see what we get. I'm going to pull the fan shroud off first. So we picked this cement mixer up out of a junkyard, so we'll just see what we get out of it. Do have a wing nut stuck to the magnet. That'll probably go here. Thought maybe we were hitting something on the magnet, but it's not hitting nothing on the magnet. It's stopping at different places. So I'm going to pull the spark plug out. It's got a little bit of rust on it, so that's good news. Now it doesn't spin. It's still hitting something. So let's open up the valve cover. And right away we see that rocker's loose, so let's check this push rod. Still looks straight to me. Just drop it back in there for now. So it looks to me like that intake valve is lower than that exhaust valve. For me, that says that that valve is just stuck open, probably bent. So we're gonna have to take this head off. So I'm just gonna start taking everything off of this head, the carburetor, the exhaust, the top plate, and the shrouds on the sides. That way we can get that head off. We're gonna get that head off. And that's nice. That intake's full of garbage.
I'll be in my room.
Okay, love you.
Love you.
So there's the inside of that head. It's pretty nice. Not really. It's in pretty rough shape. There's that stuck valve. That's going to be a problem. Now here's what I was worried about the most out of this. Probably worst case scenario. Look at all that in there. Just dirt. There's a rock. That whole cylinder is just full. Now let's get that out of there. So I cleaned it out good enough that I can spin the block over all the way. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth going any further with it. We'll see what my buddy wants to do. Alright, so my buddy decided that he doesn't want to deal with this. So that brings us to, what do you replace this motor with? I suggested a 301 Predator, but I got to make sure that this gear reduction will fit on a 301 Predator. So that's what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna get this gear reduction off. I don't know if this side cover will work on a 301 Predator. We'll have to figure that out. Or if this gear reduction will just bolt to the side of a 301 Predator, which would be great, but the crank isn't gonna work in a 301 Predator. So will this crank fit in a 301 Predator? I don't know. So I have a 301 Predator in the garage, so I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna tear this down and I'm gonna start comparing stuff to see if this side cover will fit, or if this gear reduction will fit, and if that crank will fit. So here we go. Let's get this off. So yeah, after getting that gear reduction off, this side cover is gonna have to fit something else, otherwise it ain't gonna work. So let's keep going. I guess this has to come off. That's the end of the crank there, so that's why the crank would have to be switched out as well. Let's get these side cover bolts out. So we got that side cover off this GX240. We're concerned with the bolt pattern, which I think is the same. We're concerned with this diameter here and this diameter here. So let's put this aside, get my 301 over here and get that side cover off. Alright, I got my 301 here. Get this side cover off. We got that side cover off. We'll just get some measurements off this 301. $11.77. Remember that, because I'm not going to. It's $6.23 on the Honda. $11.77. 6.24. So that will probably work. I'm just going to take that Honda side cover and try to put it on there. Nope, you can only use one set of dowels, so let's pull some dowels out. Try again. We got that back off. That side cover fits that 301 Hemi. I don't know if the non-Hemi would be a different story, but it definitely bolts up to a Hemi. And do some research and check the crank rod journal, make sure that they're the same, because I'm gonna have to use the old crank out of the GX240. I'll talk to my my buddy, let him know, yes, I think a 301 will work to replace his engine. We'll be able to use his GX240 crankshaft and side cover so that we retain that gear reduction for that cement mixer. So I got a hold of my buddy and told him, hey, that motor just needs replaced. And he ran straight out and got a Predator 301. So we're gonna have to do a bunch of teardown on this to use some of the Honda parts in it. So let's jump right in it and just start tearing this down. So there we go. That's as far down as we're gonna have to take it. The rod journals are the same, within a thou of each other, so we'll be able to use the 301 rod, which is good. Don't have to deal with taking the pistons in and out. We'll leave the oil sensor because it's going on a cement mixer, so it'll be useful to have that in there for that. So we'll just start putting it back together. That's our 301 crank. You see the 1-inch shaft there. Now this is the whole reason for having to change everything. This is the GX240 crank, the spline shaft on the end of it for that gear reduction. So this is what's going back in. Got it cleaned. Now it'll just slide right in. So we'll torque those rod bolts to 10 foot-pounds. We'll take our 301 cam, line up our dots. Got that in. Alright, so we got that side cover all cleaned up on the inside. Now we'll just put it on here. So our side cover bolts go to 17 foot-pounds. Now we're ready for our gear here. side cover put back on. So we got this side buttoned up, everything's all done and good to go there. Now we're back to this side. Just gonna take our gear reduction there and put her back in place. I don't know what the torque is on these, but we're just gonna assume they're the same as the side cover and go 17 foot-pounds. Now we did pull the cam out and drop the tappets inside, so we for sure need to get in here and check these valves. Yep, see, we dropped those valves. So both push rods are in the tappets now, and we just got to get them back underneath these rocker arms. To do that, we're gonna have to break these lock nuts loose. And we're gonna have to back these out so we can grab those push rods down at the bottom there. I tried to back this off and I don't get enough to grab that push rod. So I'm gonna back this retainer off. Push this out. Grab that push rod, and we'll just slide this straight back in. Like that. And we'll do the same over here. So what I'm doing is pulling this rocker shaft out. Putting push rod in its hole, and then just pushing this shaft back through. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Now we'll reset this valve latch. Our valve cover put back on. So there we have it. Honda GX240 crank, side cover, and gear reduction put on a Predator 301. I'm gonna get some oil in it, put a little bit of gas in it, and start it up, see what it sounds like. Alright, so moved it over here. Let's go ahead and start it up. Kill switch on, choke, fuel on, a little bit of juice. for this episode of Nick's Mini Bikes. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next one.